So hello and welcome to the UCI Cyclo-cross World Cup for 2024-25 in Benidorm in Costa Blanca in Spain. It's round number 10 of 12. It's our women's elite race, and at the top of the standings in the series so far, Lucinda Brand is pulling away from Fem van Empel. That gap has opened up behind. It is very close indeed, and of course Fem van Empel here on this course in Costa Blanca, 2 wins in the 2 runnings of this race. Can she close down the gap to Lucinda Brand? Brand, of course, has not been off the podium so far this season. Let's hear what she has to say down in Costa Blanca in Spain. So just a slight delay jumping in with Lucinda. We'll be down there very shortly indeed. And as you can see, the crowd's enjoying the sunshine. I'm sure she's enjoying getting ready to race out in the sun.
To win the GC in this World Cup?
Yes, yeah, when I do good here, it occurs a bit more again. So, and you never know what can happen in a race, especially in cyclocross. Every race is important to help towards Hoge Rijden to take it home.
Zoe Backstedt ready to defend the leader jersey and maybe be quite sure about the GC today of the U23 rides.
Yeah, I'm here to just have a good race. I think I'm not putting any expectation on myself to try and hold on to the leader's jersey or extend it or anything. Just here to have some fun in the heat. It's a little bit different to Belgium at the moment, so yeah, just really making the most of riding in a different venue.
Fem van Empel, maybe 3 times in a row here in Benidorm. The last 2 editions were yours.
Yeah, we go for it, so I'm excited.
How about the track? What do you think?
Yeah, it's fast as always here. The sun is shining, so yeah, I like that, and yeah, we will see, but I guess it's going to be a fast race.
Marie Schreiber, have you been enjoying the Spanish sun the last few days?
Yeah, I've been here now for a week and I've been enjoying it. I've been a bit sick the last few weeks, so it's been a bit difficult, but now since I've been here in the sun with my teammates, I've been feeling more like myself again. So I'm curious to see how I'm doing today, because yeah, like I said, the last 2 races were not top. But I'm feeling good, and yeah, I'm happy to be here.
You did have some trouble with back pain. Was it due to the schedule in the Christmas period?
Yeah, I think because of those heavy races, maybe I overdid a bit, and I think yeah, it took my back. But yeah, I took a little bit of rest, and also because of my illness, and now yeah, it's better, and I don't really feel it. So let's hope it's also that way during the race.
Do you expect a close race?
Actually, not really. I mean, we have seen over the last 2 years that it's difficult to make really big differences. But you also see the best riders end up in the front in the end, because it's still really hard. You have the intervals, and the intervals follow close to each other. So in the end, especially also maybe with the higher temperatures, yeah, you can feel it in the body.
Well, really interested to hear that from Marianne Vos, 14th in 2023 here in the race. And she'll be wanting to improve on that. Only her 2nd World Cup that she's going to be taking part in, and already trying to work her way up through the standings. Going to be looking to see whether she's going to race at those World Championships in Leuven, and that's going to be after next weekend, when we have our double weekend. Now our riders heading down to the start first. Down to the start to go onto the front row of the grid is Lucinda Brand. A 4th and a 5th place here last year and the year before, currently leading the series. Standings 255 points. Twice winner, Fem van Empel, 2nd rider down to the start. 3 wins in the series so far, a 2nd place as well. 2 wins here Will she be beaten on this track this time? The gap between her and Lucinda Brand, 61 points at the moment. Behind Fem van Empel, behind the world champion, our next rider to be called down to the line is Zoe Bagstead, leading the under-23 competition by 11 points. That's the gap between her and Marie Schreiber. A second place in Zonhoven, a third place in Dublin. Great results. Can she get herself on a podium here? Her best result is 7th place in 2023 on this track. That white and blue jersey, the under-23 leaders jersey. Next rider down to race start is the national champion of Luxembourg, one of 7 national champions here today. Marie Schreiber, a win in Hulst, a third in Antwerp. This is a race that, in theory, could suit a fast rider. 10th, her best position, sorry, 8th best position so far last year. Now, next rider down to the start is Blanca Vas. Comes down without that Hungarian jersey on, and not taking that jersey. It was Bruckner who took that away in the national championships last week. Blanca Vas with 1 third place, 1 podium place so far in the World Cup. She does have one. Inge van der Heijden doesn't have a podium so far, quite incredibly. 2 fourth places in Dublin and Zonhoven. Her best performances in the World Cup. She's only 2 points behind Blanca Vas in the series standings. Her best result in this race, 12th place in 2023. So our penultimate rider down to the start, second to last. The rider down onto the front row of the grid is Celine Alvarado. 2 wins, 1 in Namur and 1 in Zonhoven. Very different races to the race here today, but that doesn't mean she won't be right up there. A 3rd place in the race here in Benidorm last year shows that she could well be in the running. 21 points though behind a top 5 position in the World Cup overall could be a big ask. And our last rider down to the start, it is Leonie Benfeld, 3rd in the under-23 competition. She's 34 points behind Zoe Bagstead. Bearing in mind it's 40 points for a win. It's going to take a big turnover for her to move up and challenge either Schreiber or Bagstead. Leonie Benfeld, best result so far, a 7th, but that was in the last round at Dendermonde, so could well be coming on to form. Best result in this race, 12th place in 2024. So all of our riders down onto the grid, lots of people making the trip down to Benidorm to take in the sunshine from all over Europe, making the way in. At the moment it's about 14 degrees. We have about 2 mile per hour or 4 kilometre an hour wind speed and about 16 kilometre gusts on there, so not too bad out there at the moment in terms of weather. The sun's shining, it's certainly a lot warmer than Northern Europe, as you heard in the interviews. Now, other riders to watch out for on the grid: Marianne Ribeiro, the new Belgian champion on row 2. She is going to be down behind this front row with Blanca Vas taking the riders right. Our left, Celia Charret immediately behind her, the World Junior Champion. Then we've got Marie Schreiber alongside Lucinda Brand, the World Cup leader, the one in the hot seat, the one who looks like she should be able to take this away. Interesting mix of tyre treads here, so Bagstead running with a very fast tyre, not too much in the way of knobbles, very much suited to the sand. We've then got Celine Alvarado, former world champion, alongside Fem van Empel, the world champion. So Fem van Empel lined up alongside Inge van der Heijden. Van der Heijden just in front of Nadine Foucault, the new French champion, with the blue, white and red jersey behind Leonie Benfeld. Benfeld lost to the riders on that front row. Most of these tyres opting for a file style tread or a slightly bumpy tread in the centre to gain maximum speed on this. It's a real mix of terrain. If you haven't watched any of the preceding races that have been here, the 2 rounds of the World Cup we've had here in Benidorm, lots of sand, big long tarmac straight climb, which is a bit bumpy. 2 woodlands to go through. The first park is an open park, the second is a woodland park with 2 sections to it. So we go through the Parc de Fouettes first, then we go on to the Parc de Morlaix, the second part, and we go further up that than we have in previous courses. We have got planks, we have got multiple steps and a sandpit. The riders face them, they set off when the lights go green. So away we go. Fast start here is going to be critical. It does thin off pretty quickly, and you can see in the centre of the screen Van Empel looking to take the first turn, take that hot shot, but it's going to be Murray Schreiber who goes around this tight right-hand turn on the tarmac first, leading that big bunch of riders. Further down through that race field, and Alphen, Betzmer, Closel, Browers all on row 2, row 3. Further back at Casasola, Sidney McGill in that row. One of the biggest names in here is Marianne Vos. She was on row 5. She's already looking to move up through that race field. As we see Schreiber with Ben Van Empel, then Backstep followed by Benveld, Vush, and then Inge van der Heijden in that order as they come down into this turn section now. Very dry here today. The riders have been saying it's been drying out through the course of the week. And it looks to me like that's Lucinda Brand just off and running further back down. So after that front row start, just getting pushed down into towards row 2 as Celia Jarry drops down. Back wheel slid out there, but no problems for her. And a little bit further back, just seeing the yellow colours of the Visma Lisa bike. That could be Imogen Wolf, who's third at the British Championships last weekend, or it could well be Foss making the way up. We'll try and get a clearer look as they come in and through towards us next time round. At the bottom of the screen, if you're new to cyclo-cross, well, welcome back. Make sure you watch all of the previous races and our next races as well. At the bottom of the screen are the riders' positions and their time back on our race leader. So you can see those gaps opening up already on this start, and Lucinda Brand 11th as they came through at that time. A little bit further back it is Imogen Wolf, who is ahead of Marianne Vos in that Visma Lisa bike squad. Kat Ferguson also into battle, the youngster who had taken a big fall at Hulst on that big descent down to the moat, back up and riding last weekend and racing this as we see our leader remount the top of the first of our sets of stairs. And this is a long out and back section here, and this gives us a real indication of those time gaps that have already started to open up. So you can just see just a little bit muddier than we've maybe seen in previous editions. We are seeing one or two ruts out on course as well, so that's definitely making a difference. Good start here at the moment. We're just seeing Andine Falconet and Celia Jerry right up in the mix at the front of the race as we watch those riders chase on behind. Vos currently moving up into 17th position, the greatest cyclo-cross rider of all time. A few people would argue, but I think it's very difficult to argue with. That's certainly the most talented multidiscipline rider probably that we have seen in cycling for a very, very long time indeed, as the riders come past pit number 1. So from our finishing line to pit number 1, 1,100 metres. The riders through past that pit, and riders will only be going in today if they have a major mechanical. I would imagine there's probably no need to change the bike unless they have a mechanical issue. As we move on to our second set of steps, this is a multi-flight with platforms on the way up, some landings to run through on the way through as Falconet and Jerry both go through together ahead of Alvarado and Brand. Benfeld a little bit further down. Vos working away up though at the moment, moving alongside the Spanish champion there as we see on this long drag. And the drone camera here maybe accentuating the angles just a little bit as we go up this climb. It is though a long drag. Van Empel and Schreiber leading out that gap only a couple of seconds at the moment. Back as we see the riders continue to push here. You can just see Vos moving around the outside there. She continues to push it. We've got our new Italian champion chasing on behind. Italian champion Borello taking that title as Eva Lechner, who'd won that jersey for a long time, not having a good day at the office on her national championships in Italy last week. So we've come away from the long tarmac climb up. We're into the second part of the woodlands here. This is the Parc de Morlaix. Now this is a lot further than before. This is where we saw a lot of issues with punctures in previous years. You can see the big rocks and the stones that are brushed to the side. It's a it's a more groomed course. If this was skiing, you'd say that the course has been groomed. It's almost like a lot of it has been brushed over the year just to try and get rid of some of those bigger stones, those bigger rocks that were causing punctures. It does mean it's a harder, more solid surface. It does mean speed should be that little bit higher. However, there's always that risk, particularly when our riders are absolutely on the limit. It also means if you do come off, generally travelling just that little bit faster. So Lucinda Brown currently holding 9th place in this long train of riders. As you see her come taking that wide line out around that U-turn. She's got 2 riders behind her, Marion Vos, who has already moved up in front of Vos. Casasola, we've got Benfeld, Brand, Falconer, Sherry, Alvarado, Van der Heyden, Vash, in front of her, then it's back to Schreiber and Van Empel. Van Empel leading this race out from the start at the moment. As we headed from Vos up to the front there, a cast of all of the riders we've seen in action so far during the course of the season, a season that kicked off with a win for Van Empel. Marie Schreiber only taking the 1 win, that was in Hulst, but this race still really close together, the speed incredibly high. These Betsema just holding the end of that long train of riders. It's about 5 seconds behind Betsema to Borello, the Italian champion. That's the first of our gaps, and that's after our 15th place rider. So a leading group of 15 riders. If you count the leading 2 in with the rest of the train, it's not a huge gap though. So Van Empel, Marie Schreiber going down through pit number 2. There's 2,700 metres into the course, another 1,600 metres on from pit 1 to pit 2. And you see already a bike change and a mistake in the pit there as they came diving in through the pit. We're just looking to see who we're missing from this train of riders here. I don't think it was Van der Heyden, in which case that may well have been Sarah Casasola who had that issue with the bike. We're going to see no doubt them chasing on, but I think that's Casasola just coming through just ahead of the Italian champion there, being followed by Wolf. So may well have been Casasola with that issue. Onto the grass once again, going past the massed ranks of spectators. Around the U-turn, we're heading in towards the finish of the lap at the moment. These fast twists and turns, a change of Planck's location between the first edition of this race and the second edition of this race, and the same again as we've seen those planks just being moved slightly. Very, very tricky. They're on a slope that drops down to the right. At the moment, each and every one of these obstacles just breaking these groups just a little bit further apart. Our leading 5 riders going through. Then it's Alvarado leading the chase behind. That chase behind of 6 riders, if you include Kilazal. But we've got Benfeld right on the heels. Casasola also chasing very fast today here, almost crit race-esque as you're coming diving in around these turns. The speed really, really high. That first lap in and done. 8 minutes a lap is pretty shifting on this course at the moment. The total course length is 3.2k. So Marion Riverol currently in 39th position, just sitting behind Kaya Musgrave there. Musgrave of the United States of America getting in front of the Belgian champion. Great shot as those riders come diving round, but as they come up and over these bumps, these little rises, the bankings here, taking the left turn over onto the bridge. It's Van Empel still in charge, but Van Empel and Schreiber being pulled back. Schreiber dropping down into 3rd position at the moment. And we don't often talk about sitting in the draft and hiding out the wind in a cyclo-cross race. It's not something that's always to the fore. Races like Zolder, potentially the finishing straight of Hoge Heide, potentially have those possibilities, but at the moment certainly not looking like they're playing out at the moment. Pretty sure that's lots of Kopecky down in the pit, but I'll take that under advisement. Side shot of some of our superstars. There's a lot of road training camps down here. Don't want to talk about different disciplines too much with it when we're talking about cyclocross. But a lot of the road training camps are down here. A number of the riders putting in training camp sessions and training for the road, as well as coming and racing on the cyclocross here, combining the two. A number of riders choosing not to. One notable absentee here who was on the original entry list is Puk Pieterse. Puk Pieterse not taking to the start, not because she's putting in extra training, but because she is ill. She picked up a cold when she took the Netherlands national champion. The red, white and blue jersey. That title's going to her at the weekend, but having that cold and not having recovered from that. So she won't be challenging Lucinda Brand, who's moved from what was at one point at 17th position right the way up through the groups as the group came back together on that far section. And then they slowed going over the bridge back up into number one as they come in through the sand section. The World Cup leader leading ahead of second place in the World Cup. Then Van Empel a little bit further back through the field. All the riders having to queues come in. So at the moment it's Brand being followed by Van Empel, then Vash. Then it is going to be Celia Jerry, the youngster, the junior world champion from Tabor, just at the moment looking very strong in the middle of this group. So Brand, Van Empel, along with Vash, Schreiber, Jerry, Alvarado, Van der Heijden. Backstead just comes up those steps just ahead of Folkeday, and then it's Vos. Vos getting the camera shot there, so he came over the top. That bright yellow jersey tucked in behind Folkeday. There's a little bit of a gap though between Folkeday and the back of Zoe Backstead's wheel as Van der Heijden comes around the outside of Alvarado. Van der Heijden wanted to keep the pace on, wanted to keep this hard, potentially wanted to eliminate riders behind. Betsema looking to be just struggling off the back of this group. Over to one side, she's got Barella with her, and Bettenfeld just tucked in as well. You can see Manon Bakker in this group of four riders chasing. So Barello, the Italian champion, leading that chasing group of four immediately behind. Then we've got Annick van Alphen in the 7 racing, just leading through Wolf. But they are a fair way down now. They're sitting in 16th, 17th position, just inside that top 20. The leaders, though, on lap number 2, head back into the parkland. Move on the right-hand side there. Always somebody wanting to have a move up. Everybody wants to be in those leading positions. Nobody wants to get caught out by a crash, by a slip or a slide. Further up you are, the less likely you are to be at the mercy of somebody else's mistake. Look at this, right the way across the track here. About 7 riders wide coming into that right-hand turn. They're going to have to shuffle down though, because we have got this slalom section back down in the groves here in between the trees. Van Empel just holding that front position. Vash moving up onto the shoulder of Brand, just goes on the right-hand side there. Van der Heijden just being swept back. The last rider in that group is Helene Clazel in that light green jersey. The blue sleeves. So really difficult to make a move just based on pure grunt, on power, on torque. Just there's no being able to drag it through the mud. The running is all about being able to run fast through the planks, the hurdles, the barriers, but being able to run fast up the steps. Those are the key sections here. It's going to be about not making a mistake, not losing concentration for a fraction of a second, not going off race line. Race line is swept clear. It's very, very fast. Go out a little bit further, and then you're going to be in trouble. If you hit something big, it's going to cause you problems. Celia Jerry maybe just taking a few chances there, just going wide as Schreiber goes up onto the front of the race on this long, fast downhill section. Good to see Victoria Schleidenova in the mix here. Her first World Cup, 22nd at the moment. That's a rider I would expect to see moving up. Very, very strong cross rider, rode so well into ball previously. The riders, though, choosing not to go into the pit. We talked about a slow race, something like Benidorm, where you go into the pit and speed of riding is only just greater than the speed of running, so you don't lose much time here. There's a humongous difference between the two. Really going to make a big, big difference. You lose so much time by going in. Really don't want to put the bike in put yourself in a position where that bike needs fixing, where the bike has to go in and get fixed. They have to change that bike. Sherry again squeezing up here. Well, she's no respecter of reputation here. Just gone around the side of Zoe Backstead here, right up onto the shoulders of the world champion at the moment. She says, I've got a set of those rainbow bands as well. They might be in the juniors, but definitely not wanting to be distanced at this stage. And with 3 races, including this one, to go to the end of the World Cup season, coming into form now with a double weekend of Maasmechelen and Hoogerheide next weekend, and then into the World Championships. Get your time in right with your form. Peaking now, going into the World Championship. It's going to be really, really important for these riders. We're heading down to the end of lap number 2. This is where the commissaire team, the race referees, tell us it is lap 2 of 6 complete. We're going to have 4 more laps to go. Who wants to go? Whose turn is it next? Well, that is going to come from Fauconnet, the French champion. Dives down that right-hand side. Let's see what she can do on the front. Can she break this group up some more? Can you imagine if this came down to a 12-rider bunch sprint into the finish? A scary, scary thought. Well, Closel's tenure at the front didn't last long. Behind Sherry, behind Vush, behind Van Empel. Van Empel coming diving into this turn. Further back you are. Early you've got to break into the corner. Later you can accelerate out of it each and every time you get that compression, that expansion. Alvarado being squeezed there. Big problems though as they came around that turn there. Benfeld getting really held up by that, and that's why all these riders want to be right on the front. Maria Norbert-Ribeiro, the Belgian champion, maybe not a course that suits her strengths here today. Well known for her abilities in the mud and in the Royals power sections. Well, today it's about speed, it's about zip and kick, and at the moment our leaders continue to push in the bunch. Do not want to lose this group. You are going to be in big, big trouble. Sitting at the back of that group at the moment, you can see Lucinda Brand in there. She will not want to lose too many points. Her gap coming into this race, 61 points. So even if Fen van Empel was to win this race and Lucinda Brand was to score 0 points, she still would not lose the lead. Being smart about riding, not getting into trouble is going to be key. At the moment, though, she's in danger of being pulled back by the riders even further back. They're being led by Manon Bakker at the moment. The green and white of the Creel and Cronin squad. As our race leader remounts at the top of the banking, the rest of the riders piling into the base at the bottom. Now, this is that turn. Just seeing Baxter go through. Schreiber comes through, then it's the squeeze. And that is a big old squeeze in there. And that was between Sara Casasola chopping in on the right-hand side. And then Lucinda Brand and Leonie Benfeld. All 3 riders wanted to go into the space of 1. Some of these riders very experienced, some of these riders less experienced. There are some of the experienced riders, and there are riders who people try and avoid coming into turns and corners. Some riders do have a reputation of tangling with others at times. Not something a title anybody wants to pick up, but sometimes it is inevitable in cross. So Brand not panicking. We know she comes strong towards the end of the race. We also know that Fen van Empel likes to ride off from the front at the moment. certainly going to need a push towards the end of the race, as we can just see the squeeze coming on behind these riders, wanting to close that gap back down. Elaine Closel just in no man's land between Betsema and Bakker at the moment. That chasing group behind. Our camera's picking up the series leader. She's never been off the podium in the World Cup so far. Always been in the top 3. Lucinda Brand is today the day. On race number 10, we've had 9 rounds, with round number 3 at Cabras in Sardinia not taking place due to those weather conditions. Well, is today the day. Those gaps are starting to open. Brand is aware of the danger, so is Alvarado, and it's Fauconnet who is unable to hold the wheels, and they just come swarming round the left hand side. And look at the speed of Brand here. She wants to get across. She's seen the danger. She knows she can't let the leaders go. She's really picked up the pace here as Fem van Empel, Blanca Vash and Celia Jury up front are the riders who are going clear at the front. Van Empel from the Netherlands, Vash from Hungary making the way through in that leading trio up at the front. Then it's going to be Inge van der Heijden, who is also from the Netherlands, just chasing with Lucinda Brand. And that pair sandwiched in between. They've got to get that gap. So Alvarado, Voss, Schreiber, Backstead all out the saddle, kicking over the top of that rise. They want to get back on the wheels here. Brand has made the junction. She's closed down. Van Empel took a look over the side to see who had come up. She knows it's the series leader. That is one push, one attack up there, done and dusted. We're on lap 3 of 6 and we'll soon be at half race distance. If that's the only point you can put in an attack on this course, that means that we only have 3 more options left to do that same move as we come into the finish. Nobody's going to want to drag this big bunch back into the finish. Not even somebody with a sprint finish like Marianne Vos is going to want to do that. She's not going to want to take on these riders in a sprint at the finish, and much rather leave them behind at this stage, but very difficult to do that. So just taking a little look at Celia Jury, who's right up there in the mix at the moment, currently riding in 4th position behind the series Lucinda Brand. Series leader Lucinda Brand. Jury's best position to date, a 9th place. That was in Besançon in France. Oh, big look across there from Blanca Vash into the eyes of Brand, and looking across. Fem van Empel. As Alvarado comes diving down the right hand side. As she sweeps to the right, Van der Heijden sweeps to the left to Celia Jury. Jury goes from 4th place into about 8th place in the blink of an eye. At the very back of this group, Nadine Fauconnet just holding on to the end of it. The new French champion looking to keep in touch. Taking this left-hand turn, there's a lot of riders who can sprint in this group. There's a lot of riders with the road speed and potentially track speed as well. If we count Voss into this group, we're going to see who will be able to break. Can anybody stamp the elastic and lose riders off this group? Looks like a gel for Fauconnet at the back. She takes the gel, just throws the wrapper back into the pit, so we're going to be cleared up nice and easily. As into the planks we go. And you can see just how chewed up that is this year. Really muddy. Lots of ruts in there. Muddy is a relative term, of course, because we are in southern Spain on the Costa Blanca, the training ground for so many of the teams. I think it was all but 2 of the top road teams were there this season, training over the winter period. So lap 3 complete. Brand leads them over this time from Alvarado. The gap to Backstead, probably the biggest gap between these riders in the top 11 at the moment. then we can see this is going to be the push coming from Closel behind. Alain Closel looking to get that gap back down. Got Betzimer for company. Schladenova moving up into 14th position, just ahead of Borello in 15th place. Ferguson moving into 18th there. McGill at 22nd at the moment, just ahead of Wolf. Katie Klaas 26th at the minute. And these riders scattered through in between the riders. Riders maybe not going as well as they want. Alicia Frank just at the moment, just a bit further down those standings potentially than she would expect, because Frank well down. Nova Ribeiro 40th position at the last time check I've got. So clearly, after putting in all that effort to take away that Belgian Championships jersey and all the media duties, may well be that that is taking its toll, as our leading group of 4 start to stretch the gap back to 5th, and then an increasing gap to 6th place. Big push though by Backstead, looking to close that gap down, really reminiscent of her riding when we saw her in Dublin on those technical twists and turns. She wasn't always the fastest through those turns. We saw people like Van der Heijden quicker there, but then when she had the chance to get that power down, she really accelerated up and closed those gaps back down. But this is a dangerous moment now for these riders in the race. They need to respond. Every time you come in, that optimum moment for braking is with the leader. Everybody behind her, just fractions of a second later. 4 riders clear. It's only about 2, maybe 3 seconds at the most to our chasing riders here. It's not huge at the moment. It was 2 chases. They've all come back together in that second group as Brand continues to pile on the pressure here at the front of the race. You can see that that pace is hot because the gaps are opening up even between the front 4. Backstead, Van der Heijden and Voss, followed by Schreiber, then Casasola, Jury, and then it is Fokene. They are the riders chasing in that order, but the leader is Lucinda Brand, the World Cup leader. She makes her way on to this sand section. She'll get that clean run through the slight left-right, that slight step in the run through past the spectators here. No problems at all for the riders. That sand really riding in and becoming really, really fast. One big groove on the way through here. One line. Nobody will want to leave that now, as to do so would really just burn time away. Wow, Lucinda Brand through that section and into the section immediately after the sand, just opening a little bit of a gap there, maybe just a little bit of a weakness there in the armoury from Celine Alvarado. Stumble from Alvarado as well on the stairs, and that does hand that place that was being challenged for by Fem Van Empel to go to Van Empel. So 4 riders clear. Lucinda Brand, Fem Van Empel, Celine Alvarado and Blanca Vash. The gap is between Alvarado and Van Empel at the moment. That stumble in there, flick of the elbow. She needs some assistance here. And look at the power being put down by Blanca Vash. Can Alvarado even hold the wheel? She's got to use every ounce of energy she's got at the moment. She cannot afford to let this go. But Vash, when the flick came straight up there, can she make contact? Well, Alvarado wanted a hand, and instead she's just been dumped out of 3rd place there and into 4th position. Now, big slide on the way round. You could hear the tyres go. I think I'll just put my heart back where it's meant to be. What a sight. I mean, so quick coming in there. Got up that climb. And Alvarado on the limit. We've seen the stumble. We've just seen that legs close down. We've just seen that slip. And this is where things get a little bit twitchy. And she's got to reset. That gap really has opened. Vash has got back to the leaders. Brand, Van Empel and Vash going in to the lead. The 3 leaders clear now. The gap back to Alvarado, it says 3 seconds, but that is definitely opening up at the moment. And it's going to be nearer 5 or 6 seconds when we hit the next time check to Alvarado. A little look down for Alvarado. And if you've been on the bike and you've really got to the limit, anybody who's done that will know when you are feeling, if you're feeling a little bit sore, if you've got niggling injuries, that's when that control starts to go. You need to have that solid core. You need it to be absolutely dialed. if you don't have that base there, every little movement that you make, it could just be that little bit out. You make a slight mistake when you're going at the speed of these riders, that's when you're really in trouble. And that's what seems to be happening here. And that gap has absolutely just gone out. There's nothing left in contact in terms of Alvarado to Blancavash. Just waiting for our timing screens to update for us here. But I can see that going to about 12, 13 seconds very, very quickly here. The chasing group with the last time check, to give you an indication, was 16 seconds. And I've just had a time check come in for Alvarado. She's gone back. It is to 13 seconds now. So it's on the outside of that prediction by me. It's gone to 13. Alvarado now in trouble, waiting for that group, I think, to come back in. Maybe just take a bit of a breather, reset. She doesn't want to hit the floor, hit the deck at this stage in the season. There is a degree of looking after yourself on the way through. Really interesting conversation on the Lucinda Brand and Magli Rochette podcast about looking after yourself as you go into the World Championships. And that podcast, really some great rider insights from the pro cyclocross riders. Zay Backstead and Felipe Orts, the last two guests on there, both with some real insights as you move in towards the end about looking after yourself, keeping motivated as well. So do have a listen to those if you get the chance. So three leaders going in to the planks here. Alvarado in fourth place, still showing on our screens as that position, and she's just come around that turn behind them here. I think just having reset that clock, just press the restart button, maybe pulled the power out and plugged it back in again. So Blancavash just takes a little look down the inside here. She's not always following in exactly the wheels of the riders in front. Just looking at the options, looking to see where the moves could be made here. Three riders together. Remember, last two races. Last year it was Sven van Empel from Puck Pietersee and Celine Alvarado. The year before, in 2022-23, so that was in 23, the race itself, that was Van Empel from Puck Pietersee from Van Amroy. As Alvarado looks like, I'm not quite sure what's happened, but she's got a whole new lease of life. That went out to 13 seconds. It's back down to about 6 seconds here. Now, did she take a change of bike in the pit? Has that just switched her head across? Because that is a big recovery. Now down to 5 seconds. This is coming back together potentially. We've got 5 seconds of gap to Alvarado. Casasola at 11. It's not that long ago. That had been out at nearly 20 seconds. So maybe that front group not wanting to work too much, not wanting to put too much investment at this stage in the race, waiting for that big, long, draggy climb. But we've got the dip, we've got that right-hand turn, and then that climb back up again where Brand got caught up previously. She gets to lead through this time round. 2.5, 3 seconds back to Alvarado, and at the moment, it's looking like that chasing group with Casasola chasing at the moment. That group down at about 11 seconds or so. And that has really tumbled down. And that would indicate that the front group have eased off slightly, because both Alvarado and the chasing group have both come back closer. Not long till we head into the next step section. This will be a good indicator how quick, how smooth are the riders on that dismount, how fast do they run up that step section. Alvarado weaving in between those posts smoothly, no problems for her. Behind then, you can just see Casasola and Voss with a little bit of a gap back behind as the three leaders come over the top of the stairs. All those riders quickly back into the pedals. Blancavash potentially the slowest of them, of the three, but she was at the back. So on to lap 5 of 6, a penultimate lap here at the UCI Cyclo-cross World Cup at round number 10 from Benidorm in Costa Blanca in Spain. 3 leaders having pulled themselves clear. They did have Alvarado with them. Alvarado struggling to stay with the pace, dropping back. The chasing group behind still looking to keep in contention for a podium position to close back down again. But we've maybe just seen the last pause, the last easing off from Bram, from Van Empel and Vash. As Vos now out the saddle, takes a look underneath the shoulder. She wants to see who's with her. Can she get across the gap? It's Casasola on a wheel at the moment. All 3 riders side by side in our leading group up those stairs. Everybody wants to take it. Everybody wants to get on the front. They know they can't relax here. And now they're taking a little look across at Van Empel. They can't play cow mouse for too long. They've got Alvarado making the way up here. Who's going to jump first? Are we going to see them get swept up here by Alvarado? Brand comes onto the wheel. She goes down the side straight to the group and straight past them. But that's going to be at the very moment that we see Vos come up. So Alvarado was about to make contact. Brand didn't want them to come back together again. She went up onto the front and Van Empel reacts straight away. These gaps are going to go back out, I think, as we go over the top. Gaining momentum, gaining speed back out on this downhill, little downhill section is critical as Alvarado goes over the top of that climb. 3 leaders through, down to Alvarado corner, round that left turn she goes, keeps it smooth, no tracking across those wheels that time around, but the chasing riders are not just in camera shot, they are closing down at the moment. They're being led by Casasola, Van der Heijden and Vos, and the rest of the group are not far behind. Schreiber, Backstead, Volkany, Cherie, Schladenova, Closel, Betzma, with Borello rounding out the top 15 at the moment. Well, the second to last time up that big long climb has been done. The 3 leaders haven't extended their lead. They've seen it pretty much wiped away. This is going to become one big group. We had 11 riders in the group. It looks to me like we're going to get about 10 riders back into this group. Just, I think, potentially the rider that's going to be missing is going to be Celia Sherry. So she was in that in contention there. She, I think, has just lost a little bit too much time. She's almost back with Victoria Sladenova, the rider in 12th position at the moment. So we have got 10 riders pretty much as one group, one long line at the moment. In the driving seat, right at the front, Van Empel, the world champion, looking to take some points back, looking to take another victory to extend her winning run here in Benidorm. Can she do so? Series leader right on her heels. Lucinda Brand. Then it's Blanca Vash, who has had the 1/3 place of 1 podium spot so far this season. As we come on to this draggy climb up here, all the riders out the saddle sprinting. Backstead wants to close down the gaps there, wants to get back on the wheels as she comes round that turn. So from going from a commanding lead of 20 seconds over the rest of the group, those 4 leading riders have all been swept up. They're the same 4 that are on the front 4 positions at the moment. So Van Empel, Lucinda Brand, Blanca Vash and Celine Alvarado. We've seen dramas for Alvarado on the way through. We've seen her drop back and come back to the group. But all the rest of the riders have come back together once again. Now it's about staying closer to the leader. We're on lap 5 or 6. We are at nearly 40 minutes of racing done through pit number 2. No bike changes here. Far too much time going to be lost if you do that. Blanca Vash smoothly through those planks, through those hurdles. They're just making a little bit of ground. So we'll look at the faces of the riders coming. absolutely giving everything. It is full gas the whole way around this circuit. There is no rest. There are no breaks. So that's why we're seeing these riders, I think, just slowing down just that little bit as the riders come up across the step onto the drop down onto the grass. These final turns are going to be absolutely critical come the last lap, because it's going to really, really be telling. 180-degree turn coming up. One long train of riders. Lucinda Brown working out how she can break this group apart. Who don't they want to take in to that finish? We have got one more lap to go of this 6-lap race. They are absolutely flying around the circuit at the moment. Wow, the riders tried to break it. They didn't want it to come down to sprint. Are we going to see a massive injection of pace up that climb on the back of the circuit? I think we need to get ready for some serious fireworks. Who has got the match to hit the blue touch paper? Who's going to do that first? Who maybe will fire that bit too early? Easily done on a circuit where there are plenty of twists and turns, and one slight mistake is going to cost these riders dear. Big dive down the inside. Blanka Vash wanted to move up here. She's got second wheel on the inside here. It's going to force Fem van Empel out wide. She almost has to stall. That ripples its way back through Alvarado and Schreiber, but these riders through safely. Vash making the move up into second place. Now we're on to these risers. It's a roller coaster rising climb here as you come up from this low part of the banking. And the gaps just start to reopen once again. At the moment, Brand, Van Empel, Vash and Alvarado are looking the four strongest, but now Vos starts to make a move on the side there. She moves away up into third position. Vos in the yellow, just seen a little bit of a foot out there at the side. So Brand at the moment, red and white on the front. The series leader winding up the pace on the descent. Then it's the world champion. That's Fem van Empel in second position in the white with the rainbow bands. Then the yellow and black of the Visma Lease Bike rider. That's Marianne Vos, the greatest cyclocross rider of all time, being followed by Blanka Vash from Hungary in the purple and pink jersey immediately behind. And Alvarado in the blue, the Phoenix rider. Goes up onto the hills, those riders in front. Schreiber with the red, white and blue of the Luxembourg national champs jersey. Casasola in the green and white of Creelan with the number 61 on her back. Then it is the rider who's leading the series in the under-23. Zoe Backstead immediately behind in that series leaders jersey for under-23. At the moment, Schreiber is 2 places in front. That's only going to be about 3 points. She's got an 11-point lead. She should be securing that unless something disastrous happens. But Brand, as we come into the end of this race, starting to wind it back up again. Our 4 riders with a little gap opening. This time we've exchanged Alvarado for Vos. Not what any of the riders at the front would have wanted. You never can discount Marianne Vos in a sprint, but you can't discount her once she sees sight of the finishing line. Her last World Championship win was in Fayetteville in 2022. She's been racing away for so long, taking so many titles. A born winner. Will she be the rider to take victory here today? That would be an incredible result. Blanka Vash moves up on her side, though they're not going to hand it over to anybody else very easily here as Backstead scrambles to close the gap down. Now there's a big shout from Fem van Empel going down in through past that pit there, and what has Van Empel had to say to them? Surely she's not going to change bikes on the last half of a lap. She's going to go from hero to zero if that happens, because she's been right at the front of this race. Just taking a look down, I can't see that she's got a flat tyre, and that surely is going to be the only reason that you would be going in as Brand winds it up on the front. This is the last time up that long draggy climb that runs up from the Parc de Fleurs up to the Parc de Morlaix, and at the moment, although Brand is winding hard, I tell you something, Fem van Empel looks pretty cool, calm and collected behind through the chicane. 5 riders together, Casasola and Alvarado at the moment distanced off the back, little bit of a gap back then to Van der Heijden and to Backstead. Can they keep it together? Can they keep it rubber side down? You can't make any mistakes now. Time is running out to make a move, and big move by Schreiber straight over the side there. Marie Schreiber, who's got such an explosive race start, a rider to watch in the sprint. Is not leaving it to the sprint here. She's on the front, and that has put a little bit of a gap in. Can Voss respond to this? This is going to be hurting the legs as they come up these banks, up each of these little rises here. Voss burying herself behind the leading four riders here as Fem van Empel goes on to the front. And I'll tell you something else, the leading riders at the moment won't have thanked Schreiber for that kick, but they will have thanked her for getting rid of Voss at this stage. Voss needs to come back, and she needs to do it now, but that gap has gone. Voss will not give up as Brand continues to pile on the pressure on the front. They are changing places behind for fun, but it's Brand leading at the moment. Around that turn, Vash with the big wide line, carries loads of speed, so does Voss. Not pushing it right onto the outside line. Wider turn, easier to carry the speed around there, even if it is a little bit further in distance. This race has been won by tiny time gaps before. I think today it's going to be all about that photo finish. If we're not careful, we're going to be running down in towards the second pit. Remember, we did see Van Empel put a shout. She can't afford to stop, even if she has a flat tyre here today. We've seen riders finishing on that. I suspect if she has, it's that rear one of the two, but she's not riding like she's got a flat. She's riding like she's full on for the win here. Will she be able to take that? Little bit of a gap back to Vash. Is she going to be able to run onto the wheels? Maybe get past. Every corner counts now. We're counting them down in towards that finish. Brand leading. 2 at the front, 3 at the front. Little gap back now. Vash makes that 4, and Voss is going to make contact again. Each time they come into that corner, it gives her the chance to sneak just another few millimetres closer. On the tarmac, left-hand turn, dive onto the gravel here. They all go out wide. Nobody goes in, big wide up here from Brand. She doesn't want anybody going past her before we leave this section. Back onto the grass once again. Into the planks. No mistakes time. Get this wrong. It's all over. There's not time to come back. The very quick remounts, and slowest to remount there, maybe just being Voss, but she's quickly onto the pedals as Fem van Empel goes to the front and winds up after those hurdles, after the barriers. She knows this is going to be critical. They're past the 80% marker. Limited chances to make a move. Can Brand dive bomber on the big long turn? We've got a long traverse coming up with a 180-degree turn here. Fem van Empel is winding it up on the front. She takes a look across. At the moment, it's Van Empel with Brand. Gap back to Schreiber, then Voss. I think Schreiber is not going to make contact with these two. She's looking behind her, and that's always a sign as Fem van Empel sweeps in. Can she make it 3 after 3? The series leader is on a wheel. Fem van Empel opens this up. She sprints down the straight. Brand tries to come on her side. Fem van Empel, 3 from 3 in Benidorm. She takes the victory in round number 10 of the UCI Cyclo-cross World Cup. Fem van Empel taking away the win from Lucinda Brand in second, Marie Schreiber in third, Marianne Voss in fourth, and Blanca Vass taking away 5th place on the line. Behind Zoe Backstead in 6th, Sarah Casasola in 7th. It's going to be an 8th place for Saline Alvarado and a 9th place here today for Inga van der Heijden. The top 10 going to be rounded out by Victoria Sladanova, living up to that promise and that billing that she was one of those riders to watch, and a great ride by Anadine Falconet, taking away 11th place here in Benidorm. It's going to be a 12th place for Helene Clazel, a 13th for Denise Betzemer. Betzemer nicely inside the top 15 here, which will help her with her points in the overall, but Betzemer maybe not on the season she's had previously. The riders full gas all the way round. All credit to Celia Jury, right in the mix in the early stages of the racing. She makes her way around that right-hand turn. Job done. 14th position in the race at the moment. Behind should be Borello with Ferguson, but let's take a quick look back at that sprint. Fem van Empel, nobody could come past. You can see Brand giving it absolutely everything, but she knew she wasn't going to get that last half a bike length. Van Empel punches the air in delight. 3 wins at Benidorm, one after the other. Now, Ferguson just coming through there in what is going to be, I think, 16th position. Benfeld in 17th. Back at Brouwer's battling it out for 18th and 19th. And the top 20 should be, I think, Anna Kay or Sydney McGill, dependent on which of those riders, I think, sprints into the finish. You can see Fem van Empel after that race just coming in and through. So Kate in 20th, McGill in 21st, Van Alphen 22nd position. You can see the Spanish champion taking the congratulations coming in. Sofia Roberta Rodriguez, the national champion, comes through to finish her race. That's going to be Imogen Wolf in the yellow there, just chasing to the line, chasing Katie Klaus over that finishing line, just ahead there of Marlene Petit-Gerard. So at the moment, we're just doing some very quick maths here in the studio. The gap has come down between Lucinda Brand and Fem van Empel, but it was big and it's not going to have been overturned. Closer though, the gap between Zoe Backstead and Marie Schreiber, because Schreiber finished ahead of Backstead. Backstead just getting some hugs at the side of the course there. As we see Lizzie Gonzalez just come in over the line there. And his riders still coming through thick and fast. Baroni just coming through ahead of Gonzalez. Blanca Castihiki just ahead of our Czech rider just coming in through the line. So Dudorova coming through, the Czech rider there. The rider just finishing her race here at Benidorm, round 10 of the UCI Cyclo-cross World Cup, with 2 more rounds to go. It has got a lot closer in the under 23 competition. It was an 11-point gap. We make it down to 6 points, so it's getting close once again. Well, today there was no pirate raiding by any of the rest of the riders. The established champion of Benidorm, Fem van Empel, took the victory. What a ride by her. It was in doubt all the way pretty much until we came out from the planks, from the barriers, from the hurdles, and that is where she came in front of Lucinda Brand, put the power down and couldn't be touched all the way in to the line. Great ride, 3 wins in a row by Fem van Empel. Let's see what Fem van Empel has to say.
Congratulations. It's always close in Benidorm, but this one was really close.
Yeah, but last year as well. This year it was a bit before the last corner, so yeah, every year it's excited here.
3rd win in a row here in Benidorm. Your series continues.
Yeah, I am always happy to race here, and yeah, the crowd is amazing here, and with the little kids, it's an amazing race.
Did you feel you were always in control during this race?
Yes, I think so. During the start, I was focused, and yeah, I think I was in 1st and 2nd position the whole race. So yeah, I was in control.
Fem van Empel, gefeliciteerd. 3e overwinning op rij in Benidorm na Antwerpen, na het Europees kampioenschap. Dat is al een mooi rijtje dit seizoen, hè? Die 3e overwinningen op een rij.
Zeker, de manier waarop ik vandaag win is ook bijzonder en ja, toont ook weer mijn strijdlust. Dus ik ben heel tevreden met mijn seizoen en ook met deze overwinning.
De laatste move ingezet aan de balken, dat was ons idee toch?
Ja, eigenlijk wel. Lucinda deed de deuren goed dicht. Ze hield geen ruimte, dus de balk was eigenlijk nog een van de laatste mogelijkheden om een gaatje te vinden. En ja, het was gewoon vol gas over die balk. En dan mijn sprint eigenlijk al gereden voor het asfalt.
Je hebt een aantal trainingsdagen achter de rug natuurlijk hier in Spanje. Had je ook echt heel veel zin om terug te crossen?
Ja, zeker. Een weekje met het team weg geweest. Goede sfeer hangt er, dus gaf ook mij positieve energie. En altijd weer leuk om op die crossfiets te zitten.
Geniet ervan, dank je.
Dank je wel.
So back on to training camps for Fem van Empel. Great to be riding with her teammates, but today it was all about what she could do individually. That final sprint onto the asphalt almost being decided by that final corner. Very difficult to come round in the final sprint if the rider on the front can keep full gas. That's a very rough translation of what Fem was saying in her home language there. But today it was about being in position all the way round. She never left that leading group all the way into the finish. Lucinda Brand had led into the planks, into the hurdles. But Fem van Empel, with the right move at the right time, the world champion, showing off those stripes in the sunshine. So the confirmed results, Fem van Empel taking the race win in 47 minutes 54 seconds, and you can see the top 7 riders coming through all within 20 seconds. The top 10 just over 30 seconds. The total time between them, and Fem van Empel, our leader, who came in to take victory. Great ride by Schladenov there, taking away a 10th place. The Slovakian rider clearly coming into form for the World Championships. Now, the standings, let's see how correct those maths were. The gap has come down between Lucinda Brand and Fem van Empel. It's down by 10 points. The difference between those two riders' positions. The gap between Backstedt and Schreiber has come down as well by 6 points. It's going to depend on what these riders can do as they go into those last 2 rounds. 40 points for the win in each of the rounds. It's going to be key. So let's take a look back at today's racing. So off from the start, absolutely critical here in Benidorm to be in contention. The speed of the race incredibly quick, but it was a huge pack of riders coming down into those turns. Lucinda Brand dropping down through the standings early on and dropping through the ranks as Marie Schreiber and Fem van Empel continue to push at the front, opening up the gaps and chasing as Backstedt really working hard to close the gaps down with Celine Alvarado. A little bit further back, Brand having to battle her way through. Casasola and Benfeld coming together, squeezing out Brand like the jam in a sandwich. However, Brand quickly back up to the chasing group, and then a big kick from her to bring herself back up onto the wheel of the leaders, which at this stage was Fem van Empel, Celia Jury of France, Blanca Vash and Inge van der Heijden. Another shuffle up as they came round in towards the later stages of the race. Saw Brand with Van Empel, with Alvarado and with Vash, but Alvarado tiring as they come through. Mistakes from her. The leading group, though, not making the most of that advantage, coming back together into the final lap. A big kick by Schreiber. She tried to go clear as they came in through the upper woodland. It was answered quickly by Fem van Empel and Lucinda Brand. But after the planks, a big sprint by Fem van Empel. She couldn't be beaten by Brand. Fantastic racing from the world champion to take the win in round number 10 ahead of Brand and Schreiber. Well, Lucinda Brand has had the gap closed down by Fem van Empel, but I'm sure she's going to be pleased. Her best performance at Benidorm.
Lucinda Brand, congratulations with that second spot. Again on the podium, or for the first time on the podium in Benidorm, actually.
Yeah, exactly. First time here, so it's not bad.
It was a close one, in that final lap.
Yeah, Fem just could run a little faster over the barriers, and then it's really hard to get over again. So.
But it's looking very good for the GC of the World Cup, of course.
Yes, absolutely. So that's a good thing.
Thank you very much. Okay. Lucinda Brand, het was een sprint van aan de balken. Mogen we het zo interpreteren?
Goh, eigenlijk al wel de lange straat bergop naar de trappen. Met een heel klein momentje van inhouden tussendoor en dan Schreiber doorging. En ja, dan was het wie er als eerste naar de balk voorop reed, dan is het moeilijk om er nog langs te komen.
Je doet er nog alles aan, ook op dat laatste rechte stuk. Maar als tweede opdraai is natuurlijk in het nadeel.
Ja, klopt, absoluut. Het is gewoon heel kort. Ja, je komt iedere keer net in een positie van ik kan er langs gaan als er alweer een bocht komt. Dus, maar ja, dat weet je hier.
In het eerste deel van de cross had je die hapering. Daarna was het even terugkeren, moest je er ook even van bekomen.
Goh, het is hier in het begin gewoon heel lastig. Iedereen wil de posities opschuiven. En ik wil dan ook weer niet te veel risico's nemen. En dan zak je te ver naar achter. Dus dan moet je toch ook alweer erin meedoen. En zo ging de hele tijd. En toen was ik op een gegeven moment maar klaar mee. En dan heb ik zelf even doorgetrokken.
Dankjewel.
So Lucinda Brand goes into those last two races. The gap is down. It's come down to 51 points between them, but she is in the driving seat. And with 80 points, the maximum point score, Van Empel needs serious wins in both, and she needs Lucinda Brand not to be scoring many points in both of those rounds. So it looks like it is going to be Brand's, but can she hold on? We've seen stranger things happen. Great ride by Marie Schreiber, who kicked off from the start fast, putting an attack on the last
Marie
lap.
Schreiber, of course, you're satisfied with that podium spot in an elite World Cup race.
Yeah, it's incredible. It was such a crazy race, I have to say. Like, so tactical, and I was just sitting in a bit in the beginning, and then with like 3 laps to go, I thought, damn, I'm out, because I had a bit of a crack. And then suddenly the last lap I was there, and I thought on the climb, yeah, like, just go, doesn't matter what happens afterwards. So yeah, I had a bit of like all kind of feelings throughout the race. I was feeling good, then I was feeling less good, then I was good again. So a bit of a turbulent race, but yeah, I'm more than happy with the outcome.
You're doing road races too. Do you take the experience from the road to this race, for instance?
I was trying to do that, yes. I was thinking, you know, like, it's such a tactical race and you can sit in a bit, so I was thinking, like, just play it smart, like, be in front on the key sections. And I think I managed quite well. Like, yeah, I was a bit out with 2 laps to go, and maybe it was lucky for me that they slowed down a bit on the front. But yeah, it's part of racing, and I think in the last lap I did it right. So yeah, I was trying to, you know, everything I learned from my teammates the last 2 years, I was trying to put that on the circuit now as well.
And the battle is still on, in the GC with the U23 category between you and Zoe Backstead?
Yeah, I lost a couple of points the last 2 races because with my sickness I wasn't on top, so I'm glad to be back. I don't know what the standings is now, but I mean, we have 2 races.
6 points the difference.
It's still quite a lot, because at some point there's not a big difference, but yeah, we have still 2 races to go, so I'm there to give it my all.
All the best, thanks.
Thanks.
Well, I can't wait to see what Marie Schreiber and Zoe Backstead do when we go to Maasmechelen and go to Hoogerheide. That is next weekend, 25th and 26th of January. Saturday and Sunday, back-to-back race days. And this is going to be down to the wire. Grab a podium, you're going to get yourself right up in the front of the race. You're going to get a maximum haul of points, and that's where the big point gaps are. Marie Schreiber taking her third place. 2 times 3, 2 times 3 place, third place for Schreiber. She did that at Antwerp and here in Benidorm. A win, of course, in Hulst for her. Backstead taking away a 2nd at Zonhoven, a 3rd at Dublin. The riders riding really strongly. Great to see lots of our riders making their way down, though, and lots of the teams down and based in the Benidorm. A great area to ride in. I've been lucky enough to ride down there for a few weeks over the course of the last few decades, and always a great reception down there. And at the moment, I think if you camped out on the Col de Rats, you probably see pretty much every pro rider in road cyclo-cross and pretty much everything else they're out putting in the kilometres. And the Cyclo-cross World Cup will leave Benidorm. Will be heading back up into Belgium, into Maasmechelen and Hoogerheide. Hoogerheide, of course, is the legendary World Championships that we had a couple of years ago. Going to see us returning to the Grand Prix Andre van der Poel for the very last round of the World Cup before we go to the World Championships. So the riders are ready for the prize ceremony for round 10 of the UCI Cyclo-cross World Cup. Coming to you from Benidorm in the Costa Blanca. The presentation box is just being readied as well. And nice to see all the stuff there as well. Having got rid of all the coats and jackets, it's just that little bit warmer.
Representing Luxembourg, Marie Schreiber, tercera plaza. A continuación, Bernabé Cano, diputado provincial, y Magdalena Castillo van a acompañar a la tercera clasificada en esta ceremonia.
So Marie Schreiber taking 3rd place here today, the 1st place in terms of the under-23 competition as well. A good day at the office for her. Taking that position, she's going to be rewarded with the trophy and the flowers presented here in Benidorm.
Second place, representing Netherlands. En segunda posición, representando los Países Bajos, del equipo valois, Lucinda Brand.
So Lucinda Brand, the second place here today, continuing her run of podiums. 9 podiums in the 9 races in the World Cup so far this season. Phenomenal riding by Lucinda Brand and superb consistency.
In third position, and winner today from Netherlands, from the Bisma Lisevaik, en primera posición por tercer año consecutivo, representando el equipo Bisma Lisevaik, Van Empel.
The world champion takes her 4th win of the season. Antwerp, Havre, Besançon and Benidorm fall to the world champion. Her 3rd victory here, and she will be presented with her trophy and flowers by Miguel Indurain, 5-time Tour de France winner, one of the absolute legends of cycle sport. If you're too young to remember Miguel Indurain, take a look back, dig out some of the past pictures. Absolute superb rider, dominant in his time, as we see Van Empel dominant in hers. So the national anthem of the Netherlands played in honour of our race victor. 3 years that's been played as Van Empel has taken victory in every running of this race here today. Marie Schreiber taking 3rd place, Lucinda Brand 2nd, your race winner Van Empel. Time for the obligatory selfies. Make sure that you follow the World Cup, make sure you follow the UCI Cyclo-cross, of course. Make sure you give our riders a follow. And it's always one of those classic pictures, and this one will be that little bit different, of course, because we have such a huge crowd here in Benidorm. In the background there, fantastic racing, fantastic riders, and there's always great competition, so close all the way into that finish. And coming into those points, it could have gone either way. Well, the rider who's going to take away the series lead is the rider who came in with the series lead. It is slightly diminished, but definitely in prime position to take away the World Cup win. Lucinda Brand gets the handshakes from Big Mig. She pulls on the leader's jersey once again. And after those 9 podiums, Lucinda Brand certainly looking like she is going to this way. Can she extend the gap back out again and give herself some safety at Maasmechelen? Well, you can never discount that before we move on to Hoogerheide for the finish. And Brand, well, you certainly wouldn't want to bet against her for being on the podium at the World Championships, would you? She's staying up there at the moment. It's a bit of a habit, and what a habit as well. Now, time for the under-23 ceremony, I suspect. We've got the big banner there for Zoe Blackstead. We are going to see our riders on that, and I think we're going to see Shadow taking third spot in that. Blackstead taking second, Marie Schreiber first on the day. Great racing in all of our categories in the under-23 and in the elite, racing in what has been an exciting race here in Benidorm. We have got 2 more races to come, Maasmechelen and Hoogerheide in series. But of course, before we go over there, we'll have the men's race coming up shortly. Please do make sure you join me, Matt Payne. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Goodbye.